What's going on, everybody? Doc here. Average Gamer Guys, back again for Last Day on Earth action. And today, we're going to spend a few minutes chatting about the Headhunting Arena and the new updates for this season and this season task, quest, whatever it's called. Season event. Let's first, before we get into that, hopefully having a great day. Just hit 2K subs on the channel. Very, very excited. Thank you all so very much for the support. If you're checking this one out and you enjoy the content, consider subscribing. We're still trying to hit 10K by the end of the year. We have some time to do it, but it takes everybody. We really do appreciate all of the different support. As we jump in here, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to knock out a couple of levels of this, and then I'll share some thoughts as we get into that. And then at the tail end of this, I'm going to jump in. I'm going to showcase essentially the rewards and the crates, and I'll talk about them a little bit. I have some friends to help me here today. We have our drone, which has turned out to be really, really good. I do have my VIP zone running currently, and I have the brutalizer to help us out. If you're not familiar with this, this is a weapon that you get access to with a high enough VIP level where you get to use it for 1 hour per day, and it's pretty decent little gun. Just gonna save us some durability. Got our dog here with us too, so we're gonna knock this out. We get the dissolver, which this guy not so bad. I don't mind fighting this dude, I'm gonna be honest with you. It's actually relatively easy in my opinion, and he's just gonna get melted. Absolutely just melted by our drone and by our doggo. Yeah. So first things first here. If you're not familiar with this, this has replaced the old arena. I personally was a big fan of the old arena with a few exceptions. Old arena was pretty difficult. Now you could get through a handful of the stages on the reward track. You could beat each boss probably through level 2, level 3 with melee weapons, with some plentifulness of heals. And I didn't think it was too bad. At the upper levels, you did have to be pretty well equipped, or you did have to invest quite a bit of guns. The top end reward of the old arena was fantastic. You got essentially the booklets that give you a whole bunch of weapon modifications. In my opinion, it was hands down the best way to get those. I'm just going to say that. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it gave you these files with rare blueprints, and each of these, if you were to open them up, you get 1 extremely rare, 2 rare, and 6 random. These were great. These were great because if you were earlier on and didn't have a lot of the weapon mods and were able to complete it, you were definitely going to find something that you needed. In addition, you got a large volume of these that allow you to go to Bunker Alpha, trade in the extra ones. You could try to hit some other blue or some normal ones, some gray ones. And that essentially turned into additional weapon mods. Now, Bunker Alpha doesn't let you trade for extremely rares, but still, if you were earlier on in your journey, fantastic way to get files with rare blueprints. And you got 2 of these per run. You can see we have 16. I don't have any blueprints mods to grab, so we've just been hanging on to these. It was fantastic, okay? It was absolutely fantastic. So I really enjoyed the old rewards. You can make the argument that some of the rewards on that track, for the amount that you spent, it wasn't a ton of rewards. I think that's where the old arena needed some modification. You were spending a lot of resources. You had to kill a couple of bosses essentially to get to each stage of the rewards. And there's a few stages where even if you killed 1 or 2 bosses, you still weren't getting something of value after that. So it was a pretty heavy investment. That's one of the drawbacks. Other than that, the fights were okay. I do feel like those bosses were, out of these bosses and comparing the two, the old bosses, in my opinion, were much harder. You know, every one of these has a different little bit of a strategy. I think these boss fights are a ton of fun. I personally do. I think the Dissolver, pretty easy. Probably the most, how do I say this? Probably the most bland out of them. Blood Gulper, we've seen this, kind of a blind one. It is the blind one, basically. But a blind one-esque where they're running into the barrels. That one's super fun. Soul and Mate, I think, is actually a really cool fight. You have to be very strategic about this because essentially if you kill one without killing the other one's armor goes pretty insane. So you have to kind of time this where you're fighting both of them, getting them low health, you know, before killing one of them. So that part's pretty cool. She Predator, I actually think, is one of the more unique ones where they go to hide and then, they attack you. Relatively not difficult fight. I don't think any of these are exceptionally difficult. Soul and Mate, again, I think is probably one of the harder ones. I like the variety of this. That needed a refresh. The bosses, the fights needed a refresh. They did a great job here. So credit where credit is due. This was a ton of fun. I don't hate. We've seen this for other events. We saw this for the Winter of Despair event, which probably goes down as one of LDOE's best events in a very long time. The alternate, we'll call it a currency, which is what these little ears are, is a good strategy. I like it. I genuinely don't mind having that, because if you can take advantage, if you have things that allow you to take advantage of these, that could be really cool. Again, this boss fight, I think, is just a little bit too easy. But we're also making it easy by having the dog, having the drone. We have this brutalizer. I think the other thing that hurts this, and I'm going to jump around between positives and negatives here. I think the other thing that hurts this is an inability to just grind this. We saw the same thing with the update to the Commune Trials event. Now, granted, I was a fan of that the first iteration it came around. I was less of a fan of it the second iteration. We've now had it for a couple of additional seasons because they nerfed the reward for that. It became a lot harder to get the top end rewards. The first iteration of it I thought was perfect. You could really grind it. You could do what you needed to do. If you wanted to spend some coins, it made sense because you could get some really top end stuff. We have a little bit of a different problem here. One, these rewards are okay. The fights are not bad. This is definitely tiered towards maybe a mid-level-ish player, which I think is totally fine. Some events need to be kind of geared towards that. The rewards, and we'll talk about these, definitely need an update. And again, I don't like a system in which you can only do 3 fights of these a day. I wish you could do 4. I wish there's a world in which you could fight each of these guys once, especially the first iteration of this. Now, I expect when this comes back around for the next season, if you've made it to Nightmare difficulty, you'll be able to jump right back into it. That's how the Commune Trials event now works, and season refresh. So I'm gonna make that guess. I think it's a pretty fair guess. So you'll be able to get to this. I don't like on the first day without spending coins. You can't get here. And then essentially once you get to that, you can make 150 of these ears, currency, whatever you want to call it, per day. Is that bad? No, not necessarily. That equates to just a handful of levels though. And I think that's where this becomes the biggest challenge. So we've done 3 of these. You get 3 fights per day. You can see we have a ton of ears here. We spent a lot of coins. We did end up going ahead and at the first day bought some of the ear packs. I do not recommend this. If you're a fan of this channel, which you should be, hopefully. If you're not, subscribe. The first time you do this, you basically get double of this reward. So I went ahead and did that because I wanted to see. I wanted to see what it was going to take. We spent a whole bunch of our coins as well to get to this. I wanted to see ultimately what was in this. I don't know why. I don't know why it's running me through the rewards again. Anyways, let's talk about this. I really like the way this reward track system is set up. Okay, we saw this during Winter of Despair event. We've seen this a handful of other times. The other, like, currency, we saw this during the I can't remember the name of the event, the Hunters event, where we had Hunter's Instinct or Hunter's Talent event, where we had to go kill the animals and you could get that currency and level up, and you level up on this reward track. It's essentially kind of like a mini season, if you will, which I really like. I think is really neat. I think the fact that you can go and it kind of levels up as you get a little bit farther for points can be pretty cool. Here's the difficult part though. It's 150 points at max per day. I think we had, 7 days for this event, and you can't even get the 150 the first day. But let's just assume you could, for the ease of math. 150 times 7 is what? 700, and whatever the other math is. It's not enough points is the problem. It's not enough points. You start out You need, I think, 30 points or 40 points per level. And as you get up in the levels, it escalates. The final stage here to get to the crates is 100. I think it was 80 up in this area if you can get to that point. And the big argument from lots of folks is, even if I grinded it every day, not going to get enough points to get to this. And I want to say that that's exactly true. I actually want to do some math here really quick as we're jumping into this. You could get 150 points a day. You could get just over 1,000 points. And I don't know what you need because there's 30 levels. Let's say the average is about 70. You need about double that in order to get, and that's very rough math. That might not end up being true because I don't remember where the skips were. I don't remember if it was every 5 levels that it went up 10 points or if it was somewhere in between. I know by the end here at 25, I think 25 to 30 was 80 points. Might have been 100 points to get the last one of these to get to this point. The big question I have, which we don't know the answer to, is when this comes around next season, is this whole thing going to reset? I'm going to guess that it does. If it doesn't, however, and you're able to progress, and let's say you get your first 1,000 points or you really grind it and you don't spend any coins, and you can get halfway. There's a world in which next season, if nothing changes, the rewards don't change, you could keep grinding and keep working through this track, and then eventually over a season or 2, maybe 3, you could get these rewards. That part, if that ends up being how this is, and then for everybody else that makes it to the end, you just get these crates, I would be totally fine with that. The problem with that ends up being, it means that you're going to miss out on extra chances for rare mods and things like that. However, the rest of these rewards are pretty underwhelming, right? It's cool that you get 2 weapon mod blueprints here at level 5. So for those folks that are in the middle part of their journey, mid-level 100 to 150, these things are going to be great, right? A lot of these materials are going to be great. I'll tell you on my free-to-play, I'm happy to see things like oak. I'm happy to see things like leather. I'm extra happy to see springs. I'm never upset about season experience. Lenses, there's some good stuff scattered in here. High-tech components, more springs, aluminum, okay, not great, but 5 gun oil is really good. A whole bunch of springs, wrenches, more springs. The problem is why at level 23 are we getting bolts? That's the part I don't understand. I'm okay with these first 10 levels being relatively lower things. Even getting a hammer might not seem important to many folks, but if you're starting your journey or you're in that space where you're working through your levels and trying to upgrade things and get things built, hammers are actually really important to you. So I don't mind these first few levels being kind of but I would like to see after level 10 the rewards to scale up a little bit. And this is what makes me feel like this is going to reset with each season, and that's going to mean that without spending coins, and I hope I'm wrong about this. I really, really hope I'm wrong about this. I hope it doesn't reset. I truly mean that. I hope it doesn't reset, because then that means over 2 or 3 seasons, you could get it. You could get these cool items. You're going to be able to get these cool skins. I think people are actually really excited about these. I think these are some of the cooler things we've seen in terms of outfits in a while. And I'm not one who really cares too much about outfits. That would be cool. And again, if you could grind over 2 seasons and max this out and grab yourself some steel plates or some carbon composite, or even if you were at a place where you couldn't do the nightmare difficulty fights and could only do a few, you'd still be able to grind this and be able to eventually finish. If that ends up being the case, I'm totally okay with this system. I'm very, very worried that this is going to reset. And if it resets, people's frustrations about the rewards and about making it to the back end of this is very well justified, right? Because here's the problem. There's no other reason to fight in the headhunting arena without getting reward track points here. There's no reason. It doesn't make sense. You wouldn't do this. You wouldn't waste your resources, your weapons, your heals on doing this if you couldn't make it through this track. And yes, you can, and you can grind it, and you can get points, and you can do that stuff. But if you could just every season just get to level 15, and that's where you stopped without spending coins to do that, I don't know why you would. There's going to become a point where nobody goes to play this. It was the same thing with Commune. The rewards for the old Commune were not good. It was too heavy of an investment of resources. So when that event would come around, people just would not play it. If they do the same thing with this track, or they don't change these rewards for these levels, especially 10 through 15 and maybe slightly higher, you're going to see that people don't end up playing this. So those are my thoughts. I really like the bosses. I don't mind this season track, although again, in every other event, if you played every day and you kind of min-maxed it, you could finish it. We finished Winter of Despair event on my main account and my other account. No, I take that back. We didn't finish Winter of Despair on my other account, but we got very close. If you min-max and you have the capability to do that, you should be able to finish this type of track. This is why this works. This is why this was received so well. If you can't do that by just playing every day and not spending coins, we're missing out. That's a miss. I'll call it like I see it. Again, you have an extremely rare weapon mod blueprint. Fine. If we could grab this every season, cool. If every season you could come in and you could completely finish and get to the end, and then if you wanted to spend coins, get some of these packs of high quality parts, cool. Cool. By all means, that would be the incentives for spending money. I hate the fact that you can't finish this, and I think that's a total miss. Next season, I will do an update. This comes back around and you can continue the track. This will be a lot better, right? Because it'll be a lot better. You'll at least be able to get through it once, get the top end rewards, get these skins, and then get to these packs. Cool. But what I wanted to do, I'm going to take all this stuff. I want to see what's in these packs. I'm very, very curious. It's high quality parts. A little nervous that they might not be high quality, but let's jump in. The rest of this, again, some of the stuff is okay. The season track, this type progress is fine. I'm happy for the season experience. I think that's really good. Lots of springs will be really helpful for folks. Everything else is okay. I'd love to get 10 factory parts, but I'd love to see 5 factory parts like right here. For my free-to-play folks out there, that would be fantastic. That'd be great. Be great. Some of these components are really, really important. They're really nice to have. Weapon mod blueprints. Never mad about that. You have to expect in some of these to be pretty crappy, but like, why are you giving me bolts? Give me a stack of meds here. Give me a stack of 20 first aid kits at level 23. That would be way, way worth it. Why this is right here is crazy. That's the worst one out of all of them, right? Stop giving us freaking plastic. We don't use it. Stop giving us adhesive at level 17 and 18. Imagine if this was a stack of turkeys. Imagine if this was a stack of, bandages. At least that would be useful. Again, this I'm okay with. Okay, sure. Yeah, yep, good. And then I'm kind of like, yeah, that's fine. No. So those are my thoughts. Let's grab the rewards. Happy to get the stuff. Happy to get season experience. I'll say this because I don't want this to come off too negative. I am happy that they are looking at these season events and refreshing them. Again, the bosses are so cool. I like this new setup for the arena. It's really neat. They could tie this into other things and do stuff. That part's going to be so cool. Whoever's setting these rewards up, though, send them to me to talk to me because I've got some ideas that I think would help. We got the outfit. We got the box. I'm really nervous that this isn't going to be any good. Again, we're saving up our blueprints. I'm not. Here's the other thing. You should never be upset that this stuff goes to your inventory. That's fantastic. Instead of grabbing it and putting it in your person, the fact that this goes to your inventory means that it's super safe. Nothing bad can happen to it. That's great. Happy with that. We got one of these packs. I'm actually pretty pleasantly surprised. They said high quality parts. And now I'm taking back what I said earlier, because I think you're going to be able to get... I don't think they're going to reset the track. I don't think they are, because imagine, let's say, again, you get about 1,000 points. Let's say it takes you somewhere in the ballpark of 2,000, maybe a little bit over, to finish, to get to the top. Somebody out there can do the math. Might be somewhere around there. I just did a base 30 levels times like 70 as an average. That might be a little bit off, but probably about 2,000, 2,100 points to finish it. Let's say this season, you get about halfway. Next season, you finish it or get close to finishing it. The third season this comes around, if every time you came here, you were just working towards getting these crates, and you could just get these crates as the reward because you finished the track up to this point, that's pretty good. Because then essentially you'd be able to get, let's say on a full season, if you did nightmare difficulty, you're getting 1.5 of these a day, times that by 5 or 6 or 7 days, however long the event was. You're getting 10 of these crates, which means you basically would get all of this twice almost, plus whatever you hit here. And that's an extremely rare, and these are regular weapon mods, and you get gun oil. Okay, my mind has changed. Legitimately, in the moment, my mind has changed. This is a pretty solid event as long as they don't reset the track and your progress from season to season carries over. If they do that, you'll be able to play. You'll be able to get all the rewards in the season, and then you'll be able to get to these crates. And these crates are pretty good. I'm not even upset about getting these crates, even though I can't use like any of this, besides the fact there's 3 steel here. The iron plate is probably the only thing that I'm kind of mostly like, If this was like 1 or 2 high-tech components, and that was the pull here, this would be pretty fantastic. But I see why they did it. They did 3 metals, and then they did 3 basically weapon modifications. Arena has always been set up around supporting weapon modifications, right? That's why you've always got weapon mod blueprints. You've always got extremely rares, files with blueprints. That's pretty good. Now it is a dice roll. You're going to get less extremely rares. However, if they don't reset the track and you could just get these, man, this would be huge on free to play. I'm just thinking about it. If I could get 6 to 10 weapon parts, factory parts every go around, plus a couple weapon mods, plus some gun oil, which is relatively harder to get. You have to do hard mode in Bunker Alpha, which isn't crazy, but takes some practice and takes some resources. These are pretty good. Let's crack one open. Let's see what we get. And we got gun oil. This is not bad. This is not bad. This really does change my mind, and it's making me really think that they're not going to reset your progress. That's what it makes me think. It makes me think that you're going to be able to go to this reward track, and you're just going to keep it, right? I'm going to come back next season, and I'm going to have 60 out of 100, and I'm going to be ready to fight for this next pack. Yeah. So here's the other thing I thought about as I was, and I probably said this in my free-to-play episode the other day that went up prior to this or before this, whatever. I would love to get some of these as like things for the base. Would be really cool. I like headhunting trophies. We have a few of the things at the base, Witch's Head and some other stuff, and the Blind One's head on the wall. This is cool. These would be cool. I'd like those as rewards. Maybe they'll replace. No, they're not, because I really don't. I think now they're not going to replace this. I think you're going to keep your progress, which would be pretty good. So you have the option to boost your fights. I don't really think you'll need that. Keep in mind, you can do a battle boost and get extra. I want to see what this is. So really quick, I'll do one more, and I'll spend some coins for this, just for science. It's 50 if we don't boost it. Oh, and we need less, so I should show that. So what do I have? 19, 10, and I got 1 crate. So 2 seasons. 2 seasons you'll be able to finish it if you max this out. If we have 7 days. We have 7 days for this? If we don't have 7 days, it'll take you a little over 2 seasons. But we maxed it at like about 1,800 of that. So keep that in mind. My math was a little off. I'm going to boost this now. Let's see what happens. I got one more use of the thing anyway, so. Oh, that's not worth it. It's not even double. It's a 1.5 reward. And then we have to use this to do that? Oh, that sucks. So we spent 50 coins. That doesn't seem worth it, to be honest. This guy's way harder this time around. It's because I'm not lighting him on fire. Oh. That one actually took some time. Yeah, so we got 1.5x. Got an additional crate. Oops. I'm going to use it. Let's open it up. Okay. Okay, and then our odds for this. 20% rare, very rare 10%, extremely rare 5%. Be curious to see how many of these we actually get. I'd like to see the percentages on the drops for even just the regular weapon mod blueprints be higher and the very rares be higher. That was like 40% and like 25% and then 10% I think would be fine. I don't hate this part up here though, so that's where we're at. That's where we're at. Let me know your thoughts down below. Very curious to hear. If you don't like the event, that's fine. Explain why. I personally was a fan of the old one, but I understand how the old arena wasn't like newer player friendly, right? This one is definitely a lot more newer player friendly. Pretty cool. If if they do not reset, if they don't reset the reward track over the long run, a couple of seasons of this, I actually think this one's pretty good. Not a guarantee for files with rare blueprints, which does feel kind of bad. But if you could just grind it and come back to this and get those crates, I do think lots of folks will really enjoy those crates and what's inside of them for those types of materials. Great way to grab some steel, great way to grab some factory parts. So that part by itself is pretty cool. But we will only know this next season. So we will have to wait. We will have to wait and see if that ends up happening. But hopefully you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much. Please let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Love chatting with everybody down there. Do our best to respond. If you don't like it, share that. Let me know why. We can agree to disagree. That's totally cool. I'm probably about midline on it so far. I'm going to be like pretty against it if it doesn't reset. If it does reset, I'll probably stay where I am with my opinion currently. I don't think it's gonna, like I said, but only time will tell, and we will see. So thank you so very much. We're going to keep rocking our free-to-play series. We've been doing a lot of raiding over there. Super excited about that, making some great progress. We have some big update stuff coming up here. Oh, I should do this. Before we close this out, let me run back. Let me show you the outfit. And I also want to talk about a couple of updates. Got asked, great question in the comments, what I was most excited about for this kind of mini update that we got with this refreshed event. I'm happy that we get to recycle paint. You now no longer need paint to paint your chopper, which is cool. The amount of paint needed to paint your chests has also been reduced. That stuff's neat. I'm not opposed to that. Here's what I like the best, actually. I had some stuff going in the recyclers here. Just did a video talking about recyclers for our Wasteland Survival Guides. If you want to check that out. Paint can now be recycled, and if you're like me, you have a lot of it. I'm curious to see if different colors of paint do different things. So let's start with green. Okay, this is not bad. In my opinion, this is not bad. Scrap metal's cool. Plastic is fine. In fact, you can get some aluminum plates from this. That's pretty neat. Low percent, but I'm only at 22 here for others. So this is going to be nice for me to break down. I'm going to guess that it's going to be the same for all of them. I was really hoping white and black paint, because they're a little bit more rare, would have maybe given something else, but I understand why it's not. Cool part is this would be a great way for me to get my other skill on the recycler leveled up. It's one of the few things that I don't have completely maxed out, that melee weapons. So trying to work both, trying to get these to max. That'll be pretty cool. But stack of 20 in here. Going to be able to get some good scrap metal, maybe some aluminum plates. I'm actually pretty excited about that. I think for lots of folks, they come to see, once you've painted your chests, you don't probably repaint them a ton. And unless you're constantly repainting your chopper, which doesn't matter anymore because you don't need paint for it anymore, to do that, which I think is that's a good quality of life change in my opinion. Now you can just change it. And I like that, actually. I do like that. This one's cool. I might rock this one for a little while. One's kind of neat. I like the yellow on it. Anyways, so cool. Good little mini update. I'm super excited for the bigger update. Rehashing the North zones. Getting not close, but we're making our way towards Halloween and the Halloween event, which is one of the best events in my opinion of the year typically. So very excited about that. Again, lots of free to play action, flashing some socials, do that YouTube thing, help us get to 10K. Thank you so much for all the subs and the support. Thanks for clicking on the video, spending your time with me. I genuinely do appreciate it. Another great way to support the channel besides likes and comments and being subscribed, go click on another one. Spending the time, I can't tell you how much that really genuinely does help the channel. Links in the description. When I come join our Discord, we have a Last Day on Earth playlist or channel. What that does is it pulls all of the official updates from Last Day on Earth. So if you want to stay up to date with the game and don't have Twitter, for instance, it's a great way to do that. You can post cool raid screenshots in there or any other progress things. So that's neat. So just thanks for joining. Continue to fill up our community. Links in the description for our other channels. If you want to pop over those, give them some love. We'd really appreciate that. All of our Magic the Gathering content has moved over to AGG, MTG. Trying to get to 1,000 subs over there, so that'd be great if you could support us there. And just really appreciate it. Let me know your thoughts on the event. Thanks for being here, and watch out. We got lots more Last Day on Earth content coming at you. Thanks for being here. Peace.